Hey again everyone, Matt here. Wanted to make a video on how I was almost a millionaire. Or at least how I think I was almost a millionaire. I'll never know. um, Back in 1994, I was a freshman at college at Drexel in Philadelphia. First of all, I'm opening a brand new pouch of tobacco. You want to open it with me? Ready? Oh, so good. There's nothing like a freshly opened pouch of tobacco. It's the same thing as opening a brand new can of coffee. Oh, it's disgusting good. So 94, I'm a freshman in college. I was majoring in architectural civil engineering. And they tasked all of the freshman students with a freshman design project. And I don't think it really mattered what it was, but you and about 3 other students had to team up together and design something, build it, and then present it to the engineering department there at Drexel. So we got our little team together. I think it was me and 3 other people. We got our little team together, and we set about trying to figure out what we were going to do. And it was my idea. I came up with the idea of making a remote controlled smoke detector. This is 1994. So we put our heads together. We were freshman college students. We had to scrape our money together to buy a $25 smoke detector. So I went to, I think it was Kmart, and I bought one off the shelf, cheap smoke detector. And brought it back to the group, and we took it apart, and we began to try to figure out how we were going to make this regular off-the-shelf smoke detector into a remote control smoke detector. Now, why would you want a remote control smoke detector? I'm glad you asked. The idea being was that if the smoke detector ever went off accidentally, like if you were cooking and burned something and it went off, rather than climbing on top of a chair to go up and to fan the smoke or to take the battery out, all you had to do was grab any old remote control you had in the house, an infrared remote control, point it at it, and hit any button, and it would disarm the smoke detector for 5 minutes. And in turn, 5 minutes later, it would automatically rearm itself. Theory being, after the smoke clears, you're good to go. So they gave us kind of carte blanche there at the school. We could talk to any of the other engineering departments in the school. We hooked up with the electrical engineering department, and they kind of told us what we should do and what we needed. They told us to go to Radio Shack and get what was called a 555 timer chip. It was a tiny little chip with some circuitry on it, and I guess the timer, to this day I don't know how it worked. And some wire and I think a few capacitors or something. So we got all that together. We all went back to the engineering department. We sat down with them, and they showed us. They didn't do it for us, but they told us how to do it, how to build the little circuit, and how to make it work. So we built it. It only took up so much space, the extra componentry, and we managed to stuff it inside of the the smoke detector, and it actually worked. You would take any remote, you would point it at it, and turn off, and it would rearm in 5 minutes. It was awesome. So we made a schematic for it in CAD. We made a presentation for it, like we were presenting this to a company to build. So we had to come up with a reason why this was needed, and et cetera, et cetera. The reason being was what I just told you before, that it's dangerous to take the battery out of a smoke detector or to turn it off, because you'll forget to do it, and your house will burn down a week later because you had your smoke detector off or the battery out. So that's why this was so important. That's the way we pitched it. Had a 3-page write-up on what we were going to do, and time came to present it. We all got our best clothes on. I think I wore a suit that day. So we were there with our peers and the entire engineering department, and we presented it, and everybody liked it. I think we got a B on it, actually. Not necessarily because it was a bad idea, but just because of the way we presented it or something, I forget. So we got our grades. We did okay, and that was the end of that. We did well. Fast forward, it must have been 2006, 2007. I find myself walking through Kmart again for something, I don't know what the hell it was, something. And I remember I had to walk through the smoke detector section to get to the section where I was going. And I noticed one of the smoke detectors, I just happened to look, and there was a smoke detector on the cover of the box with a remote control pointing at it on the box. So I said, how about that? I pick up the box, I turn it over, and I begin to read it. The little spiel on the back of it, kind of like what we wrote back then trying to sell the product. Don't you know, the way that thing read, it was almost verbatim what we had written back in 1994 and presented to our class. So today, now 2016, looking back on it, I think, I can't prove it, I think either one of the professors or somebody in that room may have taken the idea, they had access to our presentation, or one of the kids that I was working with may have patented it, copywritten it, whatever. I never looked into it. To this day, I haven't. I'm almost afraid to find out what actually happened. So yeah, I was 19 or 20. I didn't think anything of copywriting or patenting anything. Plus, we were part of a group, so it wasn't technically mine, even though it was my idea, and I did most of the work, truthfully. I could have been a millionaire. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.